How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. We've got some insane news. A brand new Pokemon project has been leaked, okay? A brand new Pokemon project is now in the know. We actually know of its existence now. I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to see the actual images, if you don't want to look at my ugly face, you can literally just go to Twitter and search up Central Leaks, or really anybody else, even my own Twitter account, because I am retweeting all this stuff in case you want to keep up with it. There will be links down below if you want to just go to Twitter and find this information. I can't show it on screen. I can only really talk about it, so please understand. It's just because I don't want to get in trouble with Nintendo. I just want to talk about this information from my point of view. So let's get started. What is the actual info for those of you that don't really know what's going on? Well, basically, here's what's happening. New Pokemon game leaked, codenamed Rodeo. This seems to be the multiplayer game that they reported on a few days ago. Seems to have been reborn as codenamed Synapse. So this is an online Pokemon co-op battling game, and gameplay videos are also included here. So what is the game all about? Well, basically, it is a co-op game. So you play with other players together, running around and just battling other Pokemon by riding on Pokemon. So it's a little bit weird to explain, but basically, here is the general gist of it, right? So on the image that we're looking at right now, what I can describe to you, or at least explain to you of what I'm looking at, is basically on the left side, there is a girl riding on a Decidueye. On the right side, there is a guy riding on a Samurott, and in the back, an Electivire being also, a character riding on that one, and then a Garchomp in the back as well. Basically, they're taking on a giant shadow Ho-Oh. So I guess this would be some sort of raid, but you actually physically would be doing this in the world, right? Like you would actually be doing this in the online world. This is a multiplayer game, right? So you'd be doing this with other players around. They also say apparently that this game revolves around riding Pokemon. Apparently riding Pokemon are like the biggest aspect of the game, right? Like actually riding Pokemon is a big part of the general concept, so to say, right? Like that's what it's all supposed to be about. And you also are able to connect to other players like right next to you. They show it here by just having indications that it will be a game for both Switch and mobile smartphones, right? So it would be on both consoles. They say this game revolves around ride Pokemon, and while you ride your Pokemon, you throw the Pokeball of other Pokemon to attack. So you literally ride on a Pokemon, and then you throw another Pokeball that shoots out a Pokemon that does an attack, and that will do damage to, wild Pokemon that you encounter. They also have a concept art here of a female character also on top of a Garchomp just riding. The next thing here is that apparently there was supposed to be some sort of gun, some sort of weapon in the game that you can use, which looks kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, it looks kind of interesting. I actually think it looks sick, but it almost looks like Splatoon. And also now I get why the leaker said Splatoon, because on the side here, literally on the left side is a guy character, and what he's wearing is a hoodie that's white, but it has a lot of, color splatters on it. Just all over it is just color splatters, and right next to him is I guess, a Smurgle, if you want to put it like that. There's a Smurgle and a color gun, so maybe you were supposed to use these colored guns to battle or something. Maybe that was the point. Basically, the only information he says is that this is the game that was described as being Splatoon-inspired. If you don't remember, when these leaks started, when these mega leaks started, and all this stuff about, the Terra leak, all this information started coming out, I reported to you guys that there was another game alongside Legends EA as well as Generation 10, which was announced, or rather not announced, but leaked, and it was called Pokemon Project Synapse. Synapse was supposed to be something kind of like Splatoon is what they said. Now, exactly what they meant, we didn't know, but now we see. You literally have a gun of sorts that I guess you use to shoot at, I don't know what exactly, other players. Maybe there's it's supposed to be also alongside the co-op mode, maybe there is some sort of FPS type mode in it. Maybe that's what they were going for. I really don't know, but it is crazy to see this. It is actually insane. I am just so giddy because here's the thing. This project seems to have been canceled, but not fully. This project seems to have been in the works during 2019, and then at some point in 2019, they seem to have just kind of dropped it, and then that was reimagined and re-brought back into Project Synapse, because this project is called Project Rodeo, but the new one, the one that's repurposing this game, is called Project Synapse. So yes, that's one of the things. Apparently, this is the game that was, again, described as a Splatoon-inspired one. Then here, you were supposed to be able to customize your Pokemon with painting marks. So you can literally, in this image here, it's a bunch of Garchomps with white marks, red marks, like purplish-looking ones, and just different, shapes you could put onto your Pokemon to make it more unique in that sense. Then they also have the protagonists, which do look very, much more modern in terms of their design, in terms of style. They look very I guess if you ever played a South Korean MMO, it kind of has that vibe to me, which I think looks cool. It actually looks really good. And they look a lot older as characters, which is great because it would be nice to have Pokemon characters that aren't just like freaking 10-year-olds all the time. And actually somebody who is like, 20 plus would be great. But that's what these guys look like. They look a little bit older in design, which is cool. They're also really tall. It's one of the things. But these are the protagonists, right? It's a guy and a girl. And then you also have actual gameplay. Now, the gameplay here, definitely the part that I can least show you, but it is wild, okay? So what you see here in these short little videos, or at least what I see, if you guys want to check it out again, links will be down below. Just go to Centro Leaks on Twitter, or just go to my Discord down below, because somebody will probably post it in there, and then it's going to be deleted, so go in fast before it disappears. There will be links down below, all that kind of stuff, if you want to take a look at it. But basically, what we see in the first image here, or the first little video section here, is we see basically a girl riding a Garchomp. And the Garchomp, because think about it, Garchomp is literally a shark, so its fin can be seen above ground while she's riding it, and it goes underground, literally like a land shark, which is really cool. And then it explodes out of the ground afterwards, and it looks really sick. Then there's also Decidueye. You can see like an animation for Decidueye. It's a rotated map. You can see the open world that's going to be used, or was meant to be used at least. We don't know if they've changed that at any point, but it looks great, just Decidueye running. Then there's also Electivire. So we know already basically 4 of the Pokemon here are confirmed. Electivire is just doing some electrical shit, some punches. I guess you can also use the Pokemon you're riding for battling as well. And then there is a Samurott one as well. Just a little bit of Samurott just doing, again, its thing. Nothing too crazy. Just it, being ridden, and that's about it. So some more of the actual gameplay here, again, shows the battles happening, so you can throw out your Pokemon to do an attack, but they only seem to do one single attack, and then they go back inside of your party, right? So basically, the Pokemon wouldn't necessarily that you capture, like, they wouldn't really work like regular Pokemon that you battle with. Instead, they would just be singular attack Pokemon, right? They just do one attack, and then they go back, which I'm totally cool with. I think it seems like a cool concept. As you can also see, like, in the first one, Piplup, in the second one, you see Geodude smashing the ground. In the third one, you see Piplup doing a bit of a waterfall type of attack. So I guess it would have more than one single move, because in the first one, Piplup is doing Bubble Beam, but then it does, like Surf. And then the third one here is actually Piplup again doing Mist, I think. I could be crazy, but it looks like it's doing the move Mist. And then the final piece of gameplay here again shows, I guess, Defense Curl from Geodude. So how the attacks would exactly work, we don't know. We also see, like, the actual scheme of the controller, how you would actually control the game, how it would look like if from a controlling point of view. And what we see is basically that you have, just a standard Switch layout, nothing too crazy. It is all in Japanese, so it is a little bit hard to know exactly what it says. But I think we can pretty much assume that A would be attack. And again, you guys can translate this if you do speak Japanese down below, if you do go and find this image, which shows specifically the controls of it. But overall, it seems like you'd have, you know what? We're just going to translate this. It's the best case scenario for this. It's just the best we can do. Let's just go translate it real quick, and we'll get ourselves an idea of what it actually says, because this way it's going to be impossible to know what the controls were meant to be. So here we go. Image. This is really scuffed to do. Image translate. Here we go. And again, I'm not going to get a perfect translation here. It is Google Translate after all, so we're not going to get the perfect translation, but it is better than nothing, okay? It's better than nothing. And again, if I do missay something, of course, you guys can correct me in the comment section down below. That's why the comment section exists, if I do make fuck ups. So, first one is that you would use the I guess, A button would be interact, so just to interact with anything. Then you would have B would be to evade, so hold to dash, it says, and then X would be strong attack, and Y would be a weak attack. Then you would actually rotate your camera with the right stick. Left stick would be to walk and run, so if you hold in, it would be for running. Then it also says that you'd be switching between hand skills and switching between items using your little buttons, your Joy-Con button, or like, sorry, not Joy-Con buttons, but I guess the little, like, I forget what they're called. Just the Joy buttons, right? Like on the left side here. And then, of course, it says for ZL would be for item usage. ZR would be to activate hand move, so I guess some sort of special move, or hand move, I guess, being a Pokeball being thrown out. R would be to activate a technique, and then they didn't really say anything for L. Doesn't really list what it's for here, but ZL does have some other uses. If you combo, so shortcut combos, you can use it to switch moves and stuff like that. It is pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But let's move on. The next thing shows a bit of an animation here. Again, I can't show it to you guys, but basically what it shows is a player jumping onto a wild, rampaging Pokemon, because that's why they have the red eyes, and they're jumping on it, trying to control it and get it to calm down, and then you become the, it becomes a ride Pokemon. So it's a really cool animation. It kind of shows like, how Pokemon go from rampaging to becoming your ride Pokemon, which is pretty neat. And that's the main objective of the game, is to defeat and ride rampaging Pokemon. Then they have a conclusion point here, a last piece of information, which is, okay, now what has happened to this game? We don't know. This game has been in development since at least 2019, longer than any recent main series game. There's no information here about the current status. However, the hacker mentioned a new new game with a code named Synapse that matches this game completely, down to the Splatoon inspiration. So this is a speculation, but our guess is that the game was canceled. Project Rodeo is no more. However, the concept was later retaken by Ilka and Game Freak under the new codename Synapse. So a new version of this game is potentially still being made, which is why I think that I guarantee that it's probably still being made. The reason why is because we know Synapse is still being worked on. Synapse is a project that was described by who else? Then the leaker, the guy who literally got all this information. All of these leaks that we've seen was from the leaker. And he specifically said there is something called Synapse. It's another project that's still being worked on actively with Ilka and Game Freak. Remember, Ilka is the company that made Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But also, last year, Ilka, together with Game Freak and Pokemon Company, created a brand new company called Pokémon Works. Now, Pokémon Works is supposed to be some sort of company that's supposed to help out and create Pokemon projects, Pokemon games. One of these projects could be this specific one. Project Synapse, or codenamed Synapse. So we could still be seeing this game happening. As of right now, there is no confirmations, okay? We don't really know, but it seems like this could still be in the works, okay? This still could be very much in the works, still could be happening. We just do not know as of right now. We don't know how far along it is, when we could expect it. None of that is really in our, in our peripheral, it's kind of like just in our peripheral view. We can't really tell exactly right now where it's at, or when it will happen, or when it will come, or anything really. Another thing that Centro says, of course, this all comes down to the hacker not having mixed Rodeo and Synapse. He mentioned this exact game description for Synapse. So yeah, I don't know. Basically, it is a little bit confusing. I don't really know what to say. I don't know. Apparently, it could be that these two projects are being confused. I don't know if Synapse or Rodeo are confused with each other or conflated. That's something I have no idea about. I'm very unsure about it, but I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. And he does give a bit of a conclusion here, saying Pokemon codenamed Synapse is potentially Rodeo, or the hacker mixed things up. 1. Rodeo is a spin-off we just shared, but it was canceled. However, the hacker mentioned that a new game is being developed by Game Freak and Ilka, which is a multiplayer game that was Splatoon-inspired. That was before Rodeo leaked. The Rodeo docs explicitly mentioned the Splatoon inspiration, which is true. They actually show an image here of Splatoon and kind of seem to compare it and contrast it. Then they say, however, the hacker mentioned, right, we already do that. So a multiplayer game that was Splatoon-inspired, that was before Rodeo leaked. The Rodeo doc specifically or explicitly mentions Splatoon inspiration. So potentially, Rodeo has been reborn into Synapse and restarted development, or the hacker mixed things up. So it's possible we might still get this game. It's possible we will never see the light. This game will never see the light of day. Maybe fans, maybe players, fans, people out there, if they get their hands on these files, could actually make a game out of it using the existing base, if this game is never to see the light of day. But it's all up in the air, okay? I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's all up in the air. So I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section down below. I haven't posted in a week, and literally 1 week after me not posting, we get this shit. It's a great time to be a Pokemon fan. There's so much stuff happening. I really just wish there was more official stuff happening too, because it's a little frustrating not knowing what's going on. And again, I do apologize that I cannot actually show you shit. I just don't want to get in trouble. Nintendo is very litigious, so I don't want to get in trouble. If you guys want to see this stuff, just go on Twitter, just go onto Discord servers, and you will find it. People are sharing it. People are everywhere. I'm retweeting it on my account. I'm not posting it myself. I'm just retweeting it in case you guys want to see it. You can just go on my Twitter account and just look at it there. You don't need to follow me or anything. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Just if you want to see this stuff for yourself with your own eyes, please do that. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.